Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Marvel Monday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Marvel Legends Series Strange Tales Black Heart Build-A-Figure Waves Dracula. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here on the top, you can see that's kind of messed up, but we'll get to that. Marvel Strange Tales on the front. Marvel Legends Series. Warning! Don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Build-A-Figure Blackheart. Nice big window showcasing the figure and accessories, or at least most of the figure. Marvel Strange Tales 4 and up. Assortment numbers. Hasbro print. On the bottom, small print, fine print. Legalese print, main China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. On this side, Marvel Legends Series, Marvel's Dracula. And then there's some nice artwork of Drac. Not to be confused with Drax. Marvel's Dracula. And then some larger artwork there. Marvel Legends Series. At least I think it was larger. Yes. So Marvel Legends Series. Then, finally, on the back, Marvel Legends Series. And you can see I did pick this up in store, and the box was a little bit damaged. But I'm not a mint and box collector, so it's okay. So Marvel Legends Series, Marvel's Dracula. Again, some nice artwork there. The legendary vampire Vlad Dracula rules over the undead, spreading violence and terror on his quest for power. And then there it is again in some other languages I don't speak. Here we have the completed Build-A-Figure with numbers corresponding to which figure comes with which parts. And here we have the Cross-Sale Build-A-Figure Blackheart. So we've got Moon Knight, Bloodstorm, Lilith, Dracula, this figure, Damon Hellstrom, Brother Voodoo, and Weapon of Vengeance, or Helverine. Each sold separately, subject to availability. Attention! Especially don't stick things in your French pie hole. Includes figure and 6 pieces. Warning, attention. Octoon, don't stick things in any other language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Marvel print, Hasbro print, small fine, legalese, made in China print. That, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers, and we might need those in a minute, so I'm just going to set them to the side. But first of all, let's talk about the Build-A-Figure piece. Here is Blackheart's left arm. Yeah. So, nice molded details on it, a little bit spiky. It's okay. I probably will not finish this one, but I've said that before and finished them anyway, so we'll see. So in here we have an alternate hand for the Build-A-Figure. Nice molded details, in and out hinge. So, pretty cool. Now let's get to Dracula's stuff, and let's start with his extra hands. Uh-oh, I sorted him in the foot and he fell down. So, oopsie. So here we have one of his alternate hands. It's a fist. They're actually both fists. Nice molded details. It has a nice armored sculpt to it. Looks like it's molded all in red. It's on an in and out hinge. And doesn't look like any kind of paint apps on it whatsoever. And pretty much all of that holds true for the other fist as well. So, pretty cool man, go around smacking people in the face if that's what he wants to do. Here we have his sword. Pretty cool looking. Looks like it's molded in this silvery grayish plastic here, and then paint app for the handle. And then he's got this crazy spiked half crescent moon deal for the pommel. But overall, I would say it's a pretty cool looking sword, you know. Stuff going on there. And his last accessory is his alternate head. And I have to say, it looks really cool. And I remember this was not his original look in Marvel Comics. He looked more classically Count Dracula than Vlad the Impaler Warrior. But I won't say this is a bad look for him. But I like the way the eyes kind of stick out. It's, you know, black paint back there, and then it's got these, are they green or gold? I can't really tell, but it's a bright color for the eyes. And then there might be a slight wash to the hair. I do believe there is. At least that on his head. His ponytail, not so much. He's got these nice big gold earrings on both sides. And just the face sculpt. It's very neutral. He does have pointy elf ears, though. Or Vulcan ears. And then one more feature. He does have a point of articulation here, and it's his ponytail. And it will do a full 360 degrees of rotation. So that's posing it out as he can move around. You can make the hair move appropriately. But neutral expression on this one. Head that comes on him, not so neutral. So, very nice. That's all the accessories. Let's take a look at the figure himself. And everything I said about the other head sculpt rings true for this one, except for the facial expression. It's much more, I'm fixing to bite you. Still got that same wash in there. This one might actually have a little bit of wash in ponytail, which does do a full 360 degree rotation as well. This chest piece feels like maybe it's newly sculpted piece. If it's been on something before, I don't know. This piece feels like a glued on overlay that's over the torso. Nice baggy sleeves on the arms till you get up to the gauntlets. It's got some nice paint going down here on the sides of his legs. Of course, his color scheme is like, it's not like pitch black. It's almost a very, very dark gray, more than black almost. And then red. And it looks like the majority of this is all molded in the appropriate colors. It's got this piece here that's supposed to hold the cape on. The cape does not remove. It doesn't even have a peg for support there in the back. And it is a little rubbery, so you know it can be moved around a bit. But it sucks that the cape really can't be moved all that much, but you can pose the hair to go with movement. So there is that. Let's take a look at his articulation. He can look up that high, and it looks like he's on a dumbbell, but the neck and torso are one piece. Yeah, you can see the dumbbell back there. He can look down that far. He's got some chicken neck. He's got some waggle. If you pose the hair appropriately, he can do the full exorcist. So that's cool. At the shoulder, feels like a little bit of butterfly in there, but it's not much back that far, forward that far. I think it might be just a little loose rather than actual butterfly hinge in there. As far as rotation at the shoulder goes, he can pretty much rotate his arm up that far because of the cape, and the cape will move a little bit so he can rotate it that far. I'm sure without the cape he would be able to do a full 360 degrees there. Cut here at the upper bicep, and it does do a full 360 degrees of rotation there. single hinged elbow, but it does give you well past 90 degrees worth of bend. We do have some swivel here on the gauntlet, rotation at the wrist, and it also is on an in and out hinge like the extra hands, and this one is on an up and down hinge, so that's nice. Cut here where the chest and the abdomen meet. You get a full 360 degrees of rotation there. He doesn't bend forward very far. Back about that far. And then he can lean left and right some as well. At the hips, still no pull down joints for Marvel Legends, but look at that, he almost gives you the full splits anyway. Let's see how his kick is. We'll go ahead and call that, well, I was going to say 90 degrees. This is a little less than 90 degrees. Back about a step and a piece. Cut here at the upper thigh for a full 360 degrees worth of rotation. And he has double hinged knees, and they're pinless. And he can give you that much bend out of it. This piece right here is like an overlay on the knee, I think. No rotation in the shin area. Ankle tilts down that far, which is wow. Up that far, so equally wow. And then forward facing pin for rocker. And he has no sheath for his sword. So the only storage he has for it is to hold it in his hand. And of course the extra hands do not have any storage. And there you have it, my friends. A look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Marvel Legends Series Strange Tales Blackheart Build-A-Figure Waves Dracula with the Marvel Legends Series Marvel Knights Mindless One Build-A-Figure Waves Blade, the old Toy Biz Marvel Legends Monsters 4-pack minus Dracula with Werewolf by Night, Frankenstein, and the Zombie, and the Marvel Legends Series Marvel Studios Werewolf by Night Man-Thing. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the Marvel Legends Series Strange Tales Blackheart Build-A-Figure Waves Dracula, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee from G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander from Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper, and for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Marvel Legends series, Strange Tales Blackheart Build-A-Figure Waves Dracula, I have to say this is a pretty cool looking figure. There may be some reuse in here, but I'm not really picking up on it. It looks like there's a lot, if not all new sculpt. But I think this is really cool looking version of Dracula. It's not my mind's eye version of Dracula. Of course, you know, I'm kind of stuck in with that you know, the Hammer horror kind of look of Dracula in a suit and being a count and being wily more than warrior. But you know, Vlad the Impaler, this kind of fits that name a little bit more than Dracula. But again, like I said, it's not my mind's eye view of Dracula, but you know, if I'm a vampire and I'm going to face off with Blade, for example, you know, this is the kind of vampire I would want to be, a warrior, go out fighting, you know. But I'm not 100% knowledgeable about this version of Dracula. I think this is the version that they used in the later half of the 90s. This is when they started using this version of Dracula. Of course, horror comics like in the late 70s and early 80s, for those of you who don't know, you know, it was kind of a big genre back then, and they had Tomb of Dracula in Marvel Comics. They had Tomb of Dracula, Frankenstein, you know, they had some stuff with zombies. They had Werewolf by Night, which, you know, he still appears within the larger Marvel universe, and Dracula, of course, did too, even in the late 70s and early 80s. Even in some of Chris Claremont's X-Men work in the early 80s, Dracula really had the hots for Storm, guys, and almost got her. And this was back in the day when she was still wearing her original costume. But then I think in the later half of the 90s, they started using this version of Dracula. And at some point in the 2000s, I think he was converting mutants into vampires. And there was a whole what if story about, you know, Wolverine the Vampire Lord. And so, you know, it's not like they just created this one for Marvel Legends. It does have comic book roots, and you know, he looks like, you know, a knight, Knight, knight vampire. He's wearing armor, he's ready for battle, you know, his cape is really worn, whether it's from laying in his coffin for a while or doing battle, who knows, I don't know. But, you know, if I have to give this guy a ding, one of the dings is going to be, of course, the plastic cape, because it just, and while for static poses that they do work, and for the intended in-package posing, you know, these capes work, but for actually using them, they really, most of the time, don't work. Sometimes you can get them to work, but a lot of times they don't. And I would really like to see Hasbro get away from using these molded capes, because even, you know, one of their, I guess, lead competitors in the superhero genre, at least, would be McFarlane Toys, and he switched to using soft goods wired capes. And I think there may be some legality with it that Hasbro's not using it, that they don't want to list the stuff, this is not a toy, like McFarlane does, even though, you know, it's really for a collector and not for a kid. Even though I'm not saying kids can't play with this kind of stuff, but it's just, there's legalities involved, and so maybe that's one of them, is that the wire in those types of soft goods, you know, are against the child regulations. But there are ways around that. But I think a lot of it has to do with Hasbro doesn't want to give up those spots in brick and mortar toy aisles. And if they list something not a toy, then they have to give that spot up. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what the legalities of it are, and I'm just rambling on. So, you know, this is a decent figure. I wish I could. I've got the Toy Biz Count Dracula from that Monsters 4-pack. I don't know exactly where I put him. I've searched through boxes and I can't find him. So he's around somewhere, because I did at one time, he was in my display because that was the Dracula that I had for Marvel. But So enough of me rambling on. This is a pretty good figure, except for the cape. I like the, he has pretty good range of motion. His ponytail is posable for, wind blowing one way or another. Of course, his cape isn't going to match that, so, But, other than that, I like this. I like the look of this. It's, Dracula. He's a vampire, warrior, prince, count guy who bites necks and chops heads off or something. I don't know. Anyway, but this is the fighting Dracula. But that's enough of me rambling. That does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link, and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or just help the channel grow, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.